the condition only. What is the purpose of check constraint? Check constraint, it is to check the condition. Based on that condition, the condition it should be satisfied. You are able to insert the record into that particular table. If the condition data is not satisfied, simply the system it can throw the error. The constraint violated only. The business rule you are able to violate it. Okay, clear up to this all of you? What the use of check constraint? Check constraint always it can check some condition only. Whatever the condition you have written while creation of table, based on that condition, while inserting the data into that particular table, if it is satisfied, now the data is inserted into a table. If the data is not satisfied, simply it can throw the error by our system. Now I am going to write that. First, I can check constraint. It can be applicable for the two level. One is the column level, another one is the table level. Okay. How we can create the column level? Yesterday we have seen the not null constraint on column level. Now not null constraint, it won't support the table level. Now check constraint, it can be applicable for the both column level and table level. First, we need to focus on the column level. Later, I can explain the table level also. Okay. First, now I'm going to create one table. Create table. Okay. Test underscore CK. This is check constraint only. Now I'm going to create one table. Now some columns only. Student number. Okay. Student name. Varchar 2 of 10. Now here comma. Fee column, I'm going to give the condition like this. Fee column, just I'm going to give it the condition like this. Number, constraint name, just I'm going to give it as a constraint name CK123. This is my constraint. Now, what is the constraint type? Check constraint only. Check it is a constraint. What is the condition? What is the condition we have to write here? Fee greater than or equal to 3000. What does it mean for this? While inserting the data into this particular column, what the values we need to insert? 3000 and above 3000 values only we need to insert into this column. Okay. If you're able to insert the below 3000 values into this particular column, the system simply it can throw the error. Why? Because you're able to write the check constraint for this particular column. What the use of check constraint? The check constraints always it can able to check some condition only. What the condition you have given while creation of table? Fee greater than or equal to 3000 by using check constraint only. Now I am going to create the table. Just observe here. Now I am going to create the table. Table is created. Now you can tell me this constraint, is it called as a system defined constraint or user defined constraint? The fee column, whatever I have assigned here. Is it a system defined or user defined?
User defined.
User defined only. User defined is nothing but you have given some name to this particular column for this constraint. This is called as a user defined constraint only. Now I am going to give the testing. Just check it here. Testing, how the data is inserted into this particular column. Now insert into, what is your table name? Take the table name only. This is the table name. First column, what is? Values. For the first column, student number 1, student name I am going to give it as A, fee I am going to give it as a 4. Is it a valid or invalid as of now? For this data is a valid or not? Fee column.
Valid.
Why? Because we are going to give the condition what is greater than or equal to 3000. This is a more than 3000 value. Now it is a valid data only. Now run this query. One row is inserted. Perfect. Next one. What is the next one? Just I am going to insert the one more record. 2 B. Now here I am going to give it as a 8000 only. 8000 only. Now you can tell me, is it valid or invalid? For this record, can I insert this record into a table or not?
Valid.
Valid only. Now run the query. Why? Because greater than or equal to 3000, more than 3000. Valid only. Now I am going to write the query like this. Next one. 3 C. Now here what I am going to do? 3000 only. Now can anyone tell me, is it valid or invalid for this scenario also?
Valid.
Valid on 3000 also it can able to accept. Now perfect. Now this is also valid scenario only. Next one. Now I am going to give it as a 4D. I am going to give it as a 2000. Now you can tell me, is it valid or invalid?
Invalid.
Invalid. Why? Because what the condition you have given while
Greater than
creating
or equal
this
to
table, this
3000.
particular column, P greater than or equal to 3000. If you are able to insert the below 3000 values into this particular column, P column, immediately the system it can throw the error. What type of error you need to see it here? Constraint, check constraint violated only. Just you can see this. What the error message it can come? This is the invalid check constraint violated. Why? Because you have to violated the business rule. What is the business rule? You are able to insert that particular column 3000 and above 3000 values only. If you are able to insert the below 3000 values, immediately the system it can throw the error. Clear up to this, all of you? What the check constraint? Any doubts? Any doubts for this? Clear? Now, I'm going to create the check constraint on multiple columns. I'm going to create the check constraint on multiple columns. Just you have to see here. Select. Again, I'm going to create the one more table. Create table. Test underscore CK1. I'm going to give it here. Okay. Now here I'm going to give it as a customer ID. Here I am going to give it as a not null. Just observe here. Not null already it is over. Correct or not? Next one is the customer name. Varchar of 10. Just I am going to give it as a not null. Next quantity. Always number. Here I am going to write the check constraint. Okay. Quantity less than or equal to 100. Just what I have given here, what the condition I have given? Quantity is a number data type. What the condition you have given? Less than or equal to 100. 100 below 100 only you need to insert the quantities. Next one, what is one more? I am going to write it here. Price. This is also number. Check price between 0 and 2000 only. Again, how many constraints we have applied in this table as of now? How many constraints we have applied? Two only. One is the not null, another one is the check constraint. Which columns I need to apply the not null? Which columns I need to apply the check constraint as per our table?
Customer ID and customer name.
Customer ID and customer name. I have to apply the not null constraint. The other columns we need to apply the check constraint only. Correct? Now, what is the meaning of this price column? What is the condition we have to return? What is the condition we have to apply the check constraint for the price column? Price between always what it is? 0 to 2000 only. If you are able to insert the more than 2000, is it able to allow the system? No.
No, throw error.
It can throw the error. Why? Because you can check some condition here. While inserting the data into that particular table, you have given some condition. No need to do it as a more than 2000 values. Sir. Simply it can throw the error. Now come to this quantity. How many quantities we need to apply? Below 100 only. 0 to 100 or 0 to 100 it can apply. If you are able to insert the more than 100, simply it can throw the error. Now I am going to create the table. Now for all these constraints, what type of constraints for all these? These are all called as user defined or system defined?
User defined.
Huh?
User.
For all these user defined or system defined? Is there any name user? Can I write any
System
name?
defined.
Constraint name.
System defined.
System defined. Just remember this one. Here I can write it here. Constraint and constraint name I can write. This is called as a user defined. Without writing the syntax, constraint and constraint name, that it is called as a system defined only. This is the way we need to identify. Now I am going to create the table. While creation of table, I am going to apply all these constraints for these all the columns. Now run the query. Now I am going to insert the data. Testing. Testing. Okay. Insert into what is our table name? Take that table name only. Values. Now we can tell me the answer. 1. Customer ID 1. Customer name A. Quantity 90. Price 1500. Is it valid or invalid? As per our conditions.
Valid.
Valid.
Just check it. If you have any doubt, customer ID 1 is a not null value. Why? Because some value it is there. Customer name, this is also not null, some value. Now come to this, less than or equal to 100. Now this value is, this condition is also satisfied. Now here, between 0 to 2000, 1500 it is satisfied. This is a valid scenario only, correct? Just run the query. One row is inserted. Next. I'm going to insert the second. B. Here I am going to give the 100. Now here I am going to give the 1999. Is it valid or invalid?
Valid. Valid.
Valid only? No, run the query. It's a valid only. Next one. I am going to give it as a 3. Here I am going to give it as a null. Here I am going to give it as a 80. Here I am going to give it as a 500. Now you can tell me, is it a valid or invalid?
Invalid.
Why?
Null value.
Null value.
While creation of table, customer name, what type of constraint type we need to apply?
Not null.
Not null. If you are able to insert the null values into this particular column, the system is able to accept?
No.
Simply it can throw the error. Just you can see it. What type of constraint it can be fired? Not null constraint. Cannot insert null into this particular table. Now clear up to this? This is the not null constraint. It's violated only. Next one. I'm going to insert the one more record. Now you can tell me. It's a valid condition or invalid condition?
Duplicate
Invalid.
value.
What is the price we have given while creation of table, that particular column?
Between 0 to
0
0
and
to
2.
2000 only. What salary while inserting the data into this particular column?
2500.
Is it matching? Condition it should be satisfied?
Not satisfied.
No, if the condition is not satisfied, the system simply it can throw there. What type of constraint it can be violated now coming?
Check.
Constraint. Now I can see this. This is the way we need to write it as a check constraint. Is it clear? All of you clear for this, sir? Now, now you can tell me. Sorry, this is coming. Now, how I can able to find out whether all are user-defined constraint or system-defined constraints? What is the base table? What is the base table?
All underscore constraints.
All underscore constraints are user
User
underscore.
underscore constraints.
That is the base table for constraints. Where table name equal to, what is our table name? What is our table name? Take this table name only. Now, how many constraints are there? How many columns are there in this table? 4 columns. Now here, how many constraints are created? 4 constraints only. Clear up to this? One is national customer ID, this one customer name. These two are belongs to not null constraint. The other 2 columns belongs to check constraint only. Is it clear up to this? Any doubts? Up to now. This is called as a column level constraints only. Now I am going to show it as a table level constraints only. Now I am going to move it as a table. How we can apply the table level constraint? Just now each column we need to apply the constraint. That is called as a column level constraints only. Now I am going to apply the table level. What is the syntax? Same only. Just you can see one difference. Create table. What is the table name here? In the previous we have taken test underscore CK1. Now I can take it as a CK2 check constraint. CK2. Now here I am going to apply some columns. Student number. Anything. If you want to take it, any column, any table number. Okay, I am going to give it as a not null. Just I don't want to give it here. First, later I can write it here. First, you can see the student number. What is the difference between column level and table level? Later I can write student name, varchar 2 of 10. Next one, what it is? Fee column number only. Now, how many columns are there up to now as per this table? Up to now, how many columns I have given? 3 columns only. Next, comma, by end of the column, after end of the, just what we are going to do normally, you can close the bracket and the syntax is over for table. Now, the table level constraint, if you are able to define any table level constraints in our system, after end of the column, we need to define the constraint. Column level constraint, for each column, you need to define the constraint. For each individual column, you need to define the constraint, whether it is a not null, whether it is a check, whether it is a unique, anything. If you are able to apply that constraint on column level, that is called as a column level constraints only. If you are able to define the constraint after end of the column, that syntax we need to define, that is called as a table level constraint. Just I can write as a constraint. Okay. Now here, what I am going to do? Constraint name, just I can give it as a CK456. This is my constraint name. What I am going to apply here? Check. Now before going to do this, same only, just observe here, column level I have to define. This is CK3, I am going to give it here. Just observe. CK3, just I am going to write as a not, no need to write the not null, just I can write as a check constraint only. Check whether it is a S name equal to, just like this, upper of S name. What the condition I have given here? What the meaning of this? What the meaning of this? S name equal to upper of S name. While inserting the student name column into that particular column, what type of data you need to insert? Uppercase data. If you are able to give the lowercase data into this particular column, is the system it can able to accept?
No.
Simply it can throw there. That's the reason I have write this condition only. Next, fee also I can write the number. Now I am going to write as a constraint only. Check constraint. Okay. Fee greater than or equal to 1000. Different scenarios I have to write here. Fee less than or equal to 4000. What the meaning of this? Already this is a relational operator. This is a character functions or string functions. Correct or not? Now here, just I can remove it here. Just observe here. This is a, now this, how we can able to identify whether it is a table or column. Now first one, it is a table level or column level constraint. This
Column.
one.
Column level.
Each column we need to apply the constraint. This is called as a column level constraint only. Now come to this. After end of the column, we need to define constraint, that is called as a table constraint only. Now here, just I can write a check here, S name equal to upper of S name and upper of S name and fee, okay, fee greater than or equal to, same condition I am going to write it here. And the fee greater than or equal to 1000 again, and what is fee less than or equal to 4000. Just close the bracket. How many bracket to require? One open bracket here. We need to close this, and one more we need to require here. We can write as another. Again, it can throw there. Here one, using here is the 2. 2 is required. Now run the query. Okay. Now clear what is the difference between these two? This is the, what it is this? Check 2, it is over, R1, 2 and 3. This is a column level constraint. Just observe here. I can write it here for understanding purpose. In future also, this is the column level. Okay, what it is this? This is called as a table level. Now, how many constraints we have defined in the column level constraint? How many constraints we have defined? check it is 1. How many columns we have, how many in the system, in the all constraint tables, how many constraints it is defined, it is going to stored. Is it 2 or 3 or 1?
Check is a
Two.
one
Now
constraint.
if I'm able to,
One
huh?
constraint.
Only one constraint is there. Now in that base table, how many constraints it can able to store? Now in the previous this
Two.
query, for each column we need to apply the one is the
Check
not
and
null constraint, one is the check constraint. But in the system defined constraints, how many it is defined in the base table after run this query? How many it is coming? How many it's coming?
4.
4 only, correct? Now come to this. In this scenario, how many constraints it can able to store in the base
Two.
table?
Two constraints.
2.
2 only, correct? Now just check it here. Now I am going to create the table. Now write that query. Select star from. Just I don't want able to insert the data. Later I can insert. First check it. Select star from all underscore constraints. Here where what is that table name equal to? Just you can write it. That table name. What is our table name? Take that table name on test underscore secret. Just you can give it here. Now run the query. How many it's created? It's 2 or not? Now come to this. Now I am going to create this table also. After the end of the table, I have to apply the constraint on how many columns?
2 columns.
2 columns.
2 columns, correct? But constraints, how many it should be created in the base table?
1.
Just you can check it. Is it 1 or 2? Now table level it is created. Now check that base table. Again, I'm going to write this one for understanding purpose. I'm going to tell you for this. This is the interview question also. Okay, what is our table name? Now run the query. How many it's created?
1.
Clear up to this?
Yes.
For this one, what is the entire table you have to create this constraint, correct or not? How many columns? 2 columns only. For this one, individual columns we need to apply the constraint. Clear up to this? All of you clear for this? What is the difference between column level constraint and table level constraint? Column level constraint, for each column, if you want to define the constraint, that constraints it can be able to store into the each separate constraints it can able to store into the base table. Now in the table level constraint, after end of the column, we need to apply the constraint on multiple columns. Only one constraint it can be able to store into the base table only. That is the major difference between column level and table level only. Clear? For this one also, combination of data it can able to check. If it is how we can able to insert the data, just I am going to insert the data also here. Now here, just I can check it, the data, testing. Testing only. How we can able to test the data? Write the insert scripts only. Insert into, what is our table name? Take the table name only. Values. Student number 1, just I can give it as a. Now I am going to give it as a 4,000. Is it a valid or invalid scenario for this case?
Valid.
Valid only. Okay. Now I am going to execute the query. Valid scenario only. Okay. Next one. Here I am going to give it as a B. Here I am going to give it as a 2,000. Now you can tell me, is it a valid or invalid?
Invalid.
Why?
Uppercase letter should be
While
written.
creation of table for this particular column, what type of function you have written this particular column? Character function. What type of character function you have given? Upper. What is the purpose of upper? Always it can able to convert the uppercase data only. But here, what type of data you have given? Lowercase data. Now here, simply it can throw the error. Simply it can throw the error. Yes name if it is B. Now here, it won't convert. That's the reason immediately it can throw this error only. Okay. Next, I'm going to insert the one more record. Now here, I'm going to insert the 2. 1. Again, I'm going to give the A. Here I am going to give it the 5,000. Is it able to accept? What the condition we have given? Fee always greater than or equal to 1,000, less than or equal to 4,000. What the salary, what the fee I have given? 5,000. Is it a valid scenario?
Invalid.
Invalid. No run the query. It can throw the error. It is invalid only. Clear up to this, all of you? Any doubts for this check constraint? Here also, I'm going to write as invalid for this. No, this error I need to put it here. Next, same conditions we need to check into the table level constraint. This is the column level. Same. This is also, it can print the output same only. But what is the major difference? Only one constraint it can create into the base table only, not for all. Now here, what is our table name? 3 only. Just I can insert the data. Is it a valid condition or not? Yes, name equal to upper, and this one fee greater than or equal to this condition. Now run the query. It's a valid scenario. Now come to the second record. Is it able to insert? Again, it can throw the error. Same check constraint violated. For this scenario also, is it valid? Again,
Sir,
it can throw the error.
table name change చేయలేము.
Oh, 1 minute. Very good. 3 only, correct? Now here also 3. Now run the query. Again, same error only. Check constraint violated. Here also, check constraint violated. Just error messages are changing. That's it only. Error messages are changing. You can copy that error messages only. Clear up to this, all of you? Any doubts? For the check constraint table level and column level. Can I move to next one?
Yes, sir.
Next one is the default constraint. Default no one will use. In the real time, no one will use as a default. Then I can tell you, no problem. Next one is the default constraint. What the use of default constraint, I can tell you. If you are missing any column value, automatically the system, it can assign the one value here only. For example, while creation of table, any one of the column, I want to assign it as a default constraint only. If you are, while inserting the data into that particular column, if you are able to miss any column value data, by default, whatever the value you have given while creation of table, the data immediately it can able to store into that particular column only. Now here, just first I can tell you the example, then only you can able to understand. Create table test underscore default. Okay. Now here I can write as a student number only. Just observe here number. I can write the default constraint. I have given the value 100 only. What the value I have given? 100 only. Okay. For example, while inserting this column data into this table, if you don't give any value in this column, automatically the system it can able to store this value. Now you can check it. I can show you the example, then only you can able to understand. Student name, I can give it as a varchar2 of 10. Okay. Now I'm going to define it as a not null constraint. Next one, I can define it as a fee or marks, anything we need to take it here. Marks, number. Now here check constraint I can define. Different columns we need to define any constraint based on some condition. Marks between always 0 to 100 only. In the previous normal table, is it able to print it can able to print any type of value or not? Now here, if you are able to write the check constraint on this particular column, if this column it can able to accept the negative values. Now you can tell me.
No.
If this column it
No,
can able
it
to
won't
accept the
accept.
negative values.
No.
But the same column it can able to accept the more than 100 value. Is it
No.
possible?
No, it is
It
not
won't possible.
possible.
Now I am going to create the table. Check not null, it is over. Check constraint is over. Now we'll go for the default only. Now I am going to testing only. Now here I'm going to write like this. Insert into, what is our table name? Take the table name only. Values. Now here, I'm going to give the values like the student number 1. Okay. Now student name A. Is it a valid data or invalid data? As of now,
Valid.
valid only. Okay. Now run the query. Perfectly inserted. Valid only. Next one. Now here, I'm going to give the 2 only. B. Now here I'm going to give the 200. Is it valid or invalid? Which condition it should be violated here for this scenario?
Invalid. Check constraint.
Invalid only. What type of constraint it should be violated
Check
here?
constraint.
Check only. Why? Because you have given the marks 200 only. Is it possible in the real time 200 marks? No. That's the reason, as per the business rule, it won't allow. Next, I'm going to insert the, just observe here for the next record. Now you can tell me. Here I'm going to give it as a null only. Null. Okay. C. Here I'm going to give it as a 90. Now is it valid or invalid?
Valid.
Hmm?
Valid.
Valid.
Now what type of value it can able to store in the student number column?
100.
Hmm?
100.
Default value, or is it able to store the null value?
Default value.
100.
100 is it able to store?
Yes.
When it can able to store the 100? If you are able to miss this column in the insert script, then only it can able to store the default value as 100. Now we can give the value, some value this to particular column or not as of now. How many columns we have to give, pass it for this table? 3 values. Is there any column values missing? Currently, we don't miss any column value here. First column we need to pass the null only. When it can able to store the default value as 100, if we are able to skip this column, then it can able to. This is also valid scenario only. Okay. Now I can show it here. Now you can tell me the answer. Insert into table name. Just I can give the column names, student name. Okay, what is the column? Fee only. Next to values. Now here I'm going to pass it as a student name D, marks 99. Is it a valid scenario or invalid scenario? It's also valid scenario only. Now here, after, can I write any student number column here? Can I miss the student number column or not for the syntax?
Yes.
Now if we are able to miss the student number column, what the value it can able to store?
100.
100 only. In the previous year, able to pass null value. If you are not missing any column value, for this scenario, if you are able to miss any column value, by default, what the constraint you have defined while creation of table? Default constraint. What value you have mentioned? Default value 100 only. Now just run the query. Now run the query. What it is? What the column? Few only, correct? Oh, sorry, marks. Now here, just apply the commit and see the data. And see the data table. Go to your table, select star from. What is our table name? This is the table name only. Now you can see the data. Now, for this third row, is it coming as default value 100 or not? If you are missing any column value, if you are missing any column in that particular column, by default 100 it can able to store. Is it clear up to this? Any doubts? Default no one will use. If you are able to write this is the way we need to write it. One more example also I'm going to tell you. If you are able to any confusion here, same columns, just we can write it as a different way. Now we can tell me the answers. Here, same conditions I write it here. One more column I want to write. Joining date. This is also number I can not null percent null df1. Now here joining date. Default sys date I have given. Now what does it mean for this? What does it mean for this?
If no date is given, then system date is taken.
If you are missing this column data into this particular table, automatically what value it can able to store? current date only. What is the sys date, current date? What it is? Today's date,
Today date.
27th February only. Now we can check it. Now run the query. What it is? Then you see. Oh, sorry, data is created only. Now I'm going to test the data. Now I can check it. What are the columns? Insert into table name. Values. Now here, student number 1, A. Okay, marks giving 100. I'm going to give it as a today's date. What it is today's date? 27th February 25. Okay, now run the query. Perfectly inserted. This is a valid scenario only. I don't want to take anything. Just I can write the direct script on insert into what is our table name here? Test underscore df1. Okay, values. Now here, now you can tell me null only here. Student number, student name null here. Okay. Next, student name, what we are defined? Not null or null? Null, is it able to accept?
No.
Simply, it can throw the error for this scenario. Just I can give it as a 27 February. What constraint? While execution of this query, what the error message it can able to print? What type of constraint it can able to fire?
Not null.
Not null only. Why? Because you are able to pass for these two columns is having null value. Immediately, the system it can throw the error. Okay, why? Because you can write the not null constraint on these two columns. Clear? Next, now here I'm going to write the insert into test underscore df1. Just I can write the column name, student name, marks, and joining date. Oh, sorry. Student number, student name, marks, values. Student number, I'm going to give it as a 2. B. Now I have given as a marks 80 only. Now you can tell me, is it a valid scenario or invalid scenario? Is it a valid?
Valid.
Which column I have skipped here?
Date.
Joining date only.
Yeah.
After if you are able to write the select query, what type of data it can able to store into this column? Joining data.
Current
By
date.
default, current date only. Now check it. Now apply the commit. Now here, select from what is our table name? Take that table name only. Now check that value. Currently, I have skipped the column. Now what the value it can able to store? By default, current date it can able to store or not? Clear? This is called as a default constraint in our table only. Okay, how we can able to store the default constraint? Next one, I am going to move it as a unique constraint only. What the use of unique constraint? Yesterday I told you, it is quite opposite to not null. It is quite opposite to not null only. Unique constraint I am going to explain. It won't accept the duplicate records, but it can
Null.
accept the null values. This is quite opposite to not null only. What is the use of not null constraint? Not null constraint, it won't accept the null values, but it can able to accept the duplicate records. But here, what is the use of this unique constraint? Unique constraint, it won't accept the duplicate records. Duplicate means only it can able to accept the sequential numbers only. In between, if you are able to miss any sequence or repeat values, you want to give it here, then unique constraint it is violated only. Now you can see it here. How we can apply the unique constraint in our table? Create table. Okay. Just I'm going to write as a test unique only. Okay. Now I'm going to write the column name student number. Just I can give it as a unique. Okay, unique. Next one, student name. You can write as a varchar too. I don't want to write it. Later I can write the other constraints also. Okay. Next one, fee number only. Only how many constraints I have applied in this table? Now you can tell me. How many constraints I have applied in this table?
1
Only one. Is it a column level or table level?
column level.
Column level only. Now run the query. Where it
Sir,
is?
unique spelling wrong.
Now run the query. Table is created. Now you can see the data. Now I'm going to write this insert into what is this? Table name. How many columns are there in this table? 3 columns. Then we can pass the 3 values only. Values. Now first I can give the 1 only. Okay. A fee I'm going to give it as 100. Okay. Is it valid data or invalid as of now?
Valid.
Because it is a valid only. Correct? Now run the query. It's inserted. Next I'm going to insert the second row. Second. B. 200 I have given. Is it valid or invalid?
Valid.
Valid only. Next, I'm going to insert the one more record. 3. Okay, C. 300 I have given. Is it valid or invalid?
Valid.
Valid.
Valid only. Okay. Now run this query. Next, I'm going to insert the one more record here. Null. Here I am going to give the D. Here I am going to give the 400. Is it valid or invalid?
Invalid.
Invalid.
Valid.
Valid. Null values also.
What is the purpose of rule for this? It can able to accept the null values or not? If you are able to
Accept null
apply
values.
this unique constraint on any column, what is the major purpose? It cannot able to accept the duplicate records, but it can able to accept the null values. So null is it able to accept? It is a valid scenario only. Now next. Now here I can write the data like this. Now you can tell me is it valid or invalid for this? Already we have inserted this record.
Invalid.
Now if I am
Invalid.
able by mistakenly if you are able to insert the same data into this particular table, is it allowed?
No.
Why? Because it is a duplicate record. Correct or not? Now run the query. Unique constraint violated only. Is it clear? Unique constraint violated only. The business it cannot able to accept for this type of data. It is invalid only. Clear up to this? Unique constraint. For the purpose of unique constraint, it won't accept the duplicate data, but it can accept the null values only. This is called as a column level. This is called as a column level constraint. Now I can apply the table level also. Just now you have seen the column level. Just I can apply it as a column level. Multiple columns. Just you can see this here. This is called as a one more name table level composite unique key only. What is the meaning of this? If you are able to apply the composite unique key means that is you want to apply the multiple columns. This is individual columns only we need to apply. Correct or not? This is the unique. Again, for this column also you need to apply the unique. Can I apply the unique constraints on names? Can anyone guess it and tell me the answer? Can I apply the unique constraints on any names? Is it correct or not? Now you can tell me. Can I apply the unique constraints on any name? Student name, employee name, or customer name, or patient name, anything. Can I apply the unique constraints on that particular names? Is it possible? Is it possible to write the unique constraint that particular names column?
No, sir.
Why?
Because different same names are.
That is the major use of that. Correct. The same name. The customer, for example, customers, you want to take it here. Same customer name, is it possible to multiple customers or not? If you are able to apply the names on unique constraint, it won't accept the repeated names. Correct or not? That's the reason always you are able to apply the unique constraint on number data types only. Just remember this point. Just remember this point. The number column only we need to apply the unique constraint only. For not null, you are apply to any column. But unique constraint only it can be applicable for the names column only. What is the drawback of here unique? It can able to store the null values only. Okay, that is the drawback here. That's the reason Oracle it can provide the one more constraint that is called as a primary key only. Okay, now I'm going to move it as a table level constraint. Just observe here. Create table. Test underscore UQ1. Now I can take it as the same columns. Now here, by end of the column, we can define the constraint. What it is? Unique. Now which columns I want to apply? Just here, you can remove it here. Only number data type. Now here, how many columns we need to apply the unique constraint? Student number and fee column only. Student number and fee column. Now here, run this query. This is called as a table level constraint. How many columns we need to apply the constraint? How many columns we need to apply the unique constraint? 2 columns only. What does it mean for this? Now, if you are able to apply the single column, for that particular column, it won't able to accept the duplicate records, but it can able to accept the null values. Now come to this. If you are able to apply the unique constraint on multiple columns in the table level, the combination of data, it should be repeated. The system, it can able to throw the error. All of you clear for this? For the use of table level, this is the table level constraint. What it is? If you are able to apply, if you are able to insert the data, it should be repeated. Repeated data, if you are able to insert into that particular columns, immediately the system, it can throw the error. The combination of data, it should not be repeated. You are able to insert the data into that particular table. Now you can check it. Now I'm going to create the constraint. What is invalid option? Where it is?
Open bracket. Create table.
Hmm?
Create table, open bracket.
Oh, here it is missing. Not here.
Open bracket.
Now I'm going to create the table. Now you can tell me the answers. Testing, I'm going to write it here. Insert into, what is this? How many columns we have applied the constraint? Unique constraint, how many columns we have applied?
2.
2 only, correct? Now just I'm going to write as a values. Now here 1 comma A. Now here 100. This is a valid scenario. First time it is a valid scenario only. Now here, now you can tell me the answer. Just I'm going to write another record. This is a valid. Next I'm going to write as a one more record. 1, 2 B. Here I'm going to give it as a 2000. Is it valid or invalid? 200. Is it valid or invalid? Say yes or no. Is it valid or invalid?
Valid.
Valid only. Okay. Now I'm going to insert the one more record. 1 A. Here I'm going to insert the 300. Can anyone tell me the answer? Is this record is able to insert the record into a table, or it can able to throw the error?
Invalid.
Is it a invalid data or is it a valid
Invalid.
data?
Duplicate value insert.
Invalid.
How many people will say invalid? How many people will say valid?
Invalid, sir.
Invalid.
Yes.
Invalid.
One is
If it is valid,
And applied
if
for
it is
serial
valid,
number.
what is the reason? If it is invalid, what is the reason?
Unique constraint applied for serial number.
serial
Student
number.
number.
1 is repeated.
So fee is also number only, correct? Can I
But
apply?
unique means duplicate data.
Duplicate value.
Duplicate data.
Duplicated allow.
No, what I have explained, if you are able to apply the unique constraint on multiple columns, if you are able to apply the unique constraint on single column, this is a wrong. Now, how many columns we need to apply the unique constraint? Is it a single column or multiple columns while creation of table? Multiple columns. What does it mean for this? If any combination of data, it should be repeated. Then system, it can throw the error. If for this combination, it is there as per 3 records, any combination. 1A 100 is there, 2B 200, it is valid. 1A 300. If it is 1A 100, it is not a valid scenario. Why? Because this is the combination, again, it should be repeated. One. How many columns? Which columns we need to apply the unique constraint? Student number and fee column. Student number, it is 1. Okay, only one column it is there. This is a duplicate scenario. Now for this column, one more, what it is? Fee column. What is the value? It is there? 100. Now what is the value here? and it is a valid system. No, run the query. It is a valid only. When it should be invalid, now we can see
Same
this.
values.
Now I can write this. Now we can tell me the answer. This is an invalid scenario only. Why? This already, this one student number 1 it is there, fee already 100 it is there. Now again, same combination it is repeated, the unique constraint is violated only. How many columns we need to apply the unique constraint while creation of table? 2 columns only. The combination of data, it should be repeated, the unique constraint violated. That it is called as a composite unique key only. What the definition of composite unique key? If we are able to apply the multiple columns on unique constraint, that is called as a composite unique key only. How we can able to identify this one? The combination of data, it should be repeated. The composite unique constraint violated only. Now run the query. Immediately the system it can throw the error. Unique constraint violated. Is it clear? All of you clear for this? If you are able to apply the single column, for the above one only, it should be duplicate. It is a unique constraint violation. How many columns we need to apply this unique constraint? While creation of table, 2 columns only. Combination of column data. Combination of column data, it should be repeated. It is invalid only. This is called as a unique constraint. Clear up to this, all of you? Any doubts? Unique constraints. Is it any confusion for this? Is it any confusion? Any confusion? No, I can explain here. Student number only. One single column. 1. Is it valid or invalid? Now you can tell me. Single column for this. Unique constraint on single column. For example, I can write like this. Then only can able to understand. This is a single column only. Now, is it a valid data or invalid? 1. 2. Is it a valid or invalid?
Valid.
Valid. Now here I can give the null. Is it valid or invalid?
Valid.
Now 3. Valid only. Now here 1. Again, it's come 1. It is
Invalid.
invalid. Why? Because unique
Duplicate.
constraint is applied on the single column. If the single, what is the purpose of unique constraint? Any repeated record, duplicated it is coming, immediately the system it can throw the error. This is called as unique constraint. Now, what is the next one? What I explained, table level, how many columns we need to apply? Is it a single column or multiple columns?
Multiple columns.
Multiple columns. Now you can see it here. What are the columns I have given? Student number, comma, fee. Now you can tell me. What is the student number, fee? Now it a result. Just like that I can write it. 100. Is it valid or invalid? First, valid only for this scenario. Next, 200. Again, it is a valid only. Next, 300. Is it valid or invalid?
Valid.
Valid only. Is there any combination for these 2 columns? If it is 1, 100, if you are able to give, immediately it can throw the error by yourself. This is the combination of 2 column data. The combination of data, it should be repeated. The system, it can throw the error as a unique constraint only. Unique constraint violated. Now here, again, 1, 400. Is it valid or invalid?
Valid.
Valid only. Now I can give it as a 2, 500. Is it valid or invalid?
Valid.
Valid only. Now here, again, I can give it as 1, 100. Is it valid or invalid?
Invalid.
Invalid only. This is the combination of data. It should be repeated. It can throw the error by your system. This is called as a unique constraint only. Clear? Up to this clear, all of you? Any doubts for all the things what we have discussed up to now? Check not null, it is over. Check constraint, it is over. Default, it's over. Next one, unique constraint is over. Tomorrow is the very, very important class, primary key and foreign key. Tomorrow I can explain the primary key and foreign key. Up to now, any doubts? Anyone is having any doubts as of now?
Recording stopped.
Any doubts up to now? ఎవరికైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా ఇంకా? ఎవరికి ఏం లేవంటే నేను వైండ్ అప్ చేస్తాను చూడండి. క్లోజ్ చేస్తున్నాను ఇంకా. క్లియర్ అందరికి? ఓకే ఓకే బాయ్.